Welcome, everyone. It's an honor and privilege to be here with you. I'm Rick from Thriving Now, and Kathy Vartuli from theintimacydojo.com, and I are here about a relationship that we have, the most intimate relationship we have, the relationship that will absolutely be till death do us part with
Yeah.
our body. And we wanted to start off just honoring you and welcoming you, encouraging you to come present. We know that this is not an easy subject. Kathy.
Thanks, Rick. And thank you for being here. I love the space you hold around us. You were really the person that helped me start clearing and creating with my body. And you did it so gently and loving and with such deep compassion for the parts that hated. Um, and I acknowledge for each of you here, this is a very tough subject. And I'd like you just to take a moment to take a slow, deep breath and appreciate. You're the kind of person that's spending Sunday morning or Sunday early afternoon looking at this and clearing this energy when a lot of people are doing other things that might have a lower impact in their lives, but might be a lot easier and initially more fun. So I really think it's important to appreciate the courage that brings you here. My wish for you is that your courage far exceed the demands that's put on it, because this is scary sometimes. We have these beliefs there for a reason. They're there to hold that we built this stack of cards, this house of cards when we were little that like kept everything together. And now we're talking about like pulling cards out and looking at it, and we don't know what we're going to find, and it is scary. But instead of living the rest of our lives with this hatred, I really do think of it as like dragging along this big blob of black tar-filled cement everywhere we go. And we're so used to it, we don't even notice it most of the time. But when we can start looking at it and it gets smaller and less sticky, and we're like, oh, I get where this is coming in from. Not out of hatred, not out of pushing it away or destroying it, but out of like, wow, this is here because I needed it at some point. It was the best way I knew how to cope when I was little. That's really powerful. And you're here doing that. And I just want to honor you. I am touched by who you are. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So go to the next slide there. Okay. So we're going to talk about aspects of hating our bodies and really do some tapping and digging in. We invite you to like write some notes. Like if you're in a place where you can write down a few things. A lot of times when someone shares something that's a little bit different from us or a lot different, our brain will immediately send the correct information to us. And it's very insightful. That's one reason we love group work so very much, because if we're just working by ourselves, we don't consider the things that are outside our periphery. We don't think of the things that are kind of hidden from us. But when we hear someone say, oh, I hate my belly, and you're like, no, it's not my belly, it's my thighs, or whatever it is, that's an insight. That's like a gift someone else gave you. And so tap along with us, and you can change the words if you want, or you can say the words that are said. Our body-brain system will still translate it and take care of that. And we really want to get from a place where we're like wanting that part of us to die or disintegrate to like, wow, I love you. You may not be the way I hoped you would look, but you've done these things for me. Because that is I think for our health, our well-being, the way we walk through the world, all of that is profoundly affected by our energy.
And we know some people don't feel like it's hate. Some people don't feel like this is something that they want that aspect of them to die, but there's a real repulsion. Or just like, I was at a dance this morning, and you'll notice that when you're around people, sometimes you move away from. And this happens inside of us, pain. I can move away from my sprained ankle, like try to like distance myself, not embrace. And so, yeah, let's go. Let's do this together and just see what comes of it, how the relationship changes.
Yeah, I just want to add, for a long time, I thought that people didn't date me or want to hang out with me because I was big. And this is when I was much less big than I am now. And I realized as I cleared that, some of this is, some people don't have a preference for bigger people. That's fine. I prefer to people not have unexamined preferences, like conscious preferences, like, this is really what I enjoy. But it was really not the weight. I thought it was the weight that drove people away. It was the toxic shame and the hatred I had towards myself that was really like as I release that, I've had as many days as I wanted to have. So it's not, it's not always what we think it is. We blame a part of ourselves, but it could be our attitude that could be making the biggest difference.
And I want to say there, just because some people might wonder, you haven't had to lower your standards. You actually
No, I mean, I'm going out with
you have really high standards.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I think that that's one of the things that I think is real about the emotional journey here is that when you have a solid relationship, a solidifying, growing, deepening intimacy with yourself,
Yeah.
that you know that you want to match up with people that have that in themselves as well. And it actually allows us to know that I'm bringing something that's really profoundly beautiful, this relationship I have that I'm going to be sharing with another person in work, in play, in sex, in dance, in whatever. There is a kind of solidness. And wherever you are in that, if that sounds like, oh, I am never going to get there, it's okay. Yeah, we all start there at some point. When we look fresh with fresh eyes today, we're taking a fresh eyes look at, well, what is this relationship I've got going? And whether you're together with another person or together with yourself, it's a really interesting thing to stop for a moment, for an hour, and take a fresh look. What is this relationship right now?
Yeah.
How might I not fix it? Because that's usually been the energy. I got to fix this thing. How can I continue to accept what is and embrace a growth, a deepening, an appreciation, a healing?
Like you said, I mean, all relationships evolve. Like we all dance, and like, while I always love Rick, there's days when we're super close and days when we're like dancing a little bit with other people, and different things come up with our bodies. Like, I just turned 50, and I'm like, I actually feel younger than I did at 38 and 40. But there's like, I'm getting more wrinkles, and I have a couple more gray hairs, and like, it's like, what's coming up? Someone wrote, like, as I get older, I thought I loved my body all my life, but now I'm getting wrinkles, and then I'm, I think she said she was 69, and yeah, we have our relationship is ever evolving, and different aspects can come up. So it's okay to like find that there's areas that we don't like, and there might be things that we want to change. There's nothing wrong with wanting to change our body, but if we do it from a point of love and acceptance, we have so much more power than if we're trying to keep it over there and make a difference.
Great.
So, Rick, why do we hate our bodies?
For me, it was trauma, just, and the trauma of social. I was a skinny kid, and I had 4 eyes, except for when I bumped my forehead, and then I had a big, like, golf ball sized lump, and now I had 5 eyes, and I remember, there's like, oh, this body is attracting all of this negative attitude and bullying and things like that, or not fitting in with the boys that were stronger, maturing faster, things like that. So that's one way. It can be sexual trauma. That
was mine very much.
Yeah, it can create like, I just don't want to look at, feel, or remember anything related to that. And when a big part of our body or the whole thing was involved in that, I hate this kind of experience, often, slathered with shame. And it gets us to relate, like, oh, I hated that, what happened to this thing.
Yeah.
And so this thing is related to hate. And so we lose track that the experience, something that was done to us, something that happened to us, an accident, the pain of it, we lose track that we've moved on. And now we have this body that continues to show up for us and continues to be with us.
Yeah, I know for me, like, I grew up, I was sexually abused as a child. So there was a lot of like, I associated my body with confusion and all these feelings that I didn't know how to handle. But also, like, my mom just hated her body. Like, even though she was quite slender when I I look at pictures.
Hmm.
She was quite slender when I was little. She always had this feeling she was overweight, and I grew up with that. Like we absorb what's around us. And at 10, I went on my first diet, and I'm looking back at pictures. Actually, it was really fun putting this together. Like I was looking back at pictures of myself, and I was like, in my brain, I was so big. And I'm like, there's this little tiny skinny thing. Like, where did I get that concept that I was too ugly and fat to like fit in? And I think we just absorb it around us. So, I put a comment. If you feel drawn to, type in where you learn to dislike an aspect of your body, because I think just acknowledging that gives us power. It makes us realize that, oh, maybe this is not organic. Maybe it's not like me real. Like sometimes when I have a thought, I think it's true because I'm thinking it. But sometimes if I realize where it came from, it's like, oh, I learned that from someone, and maybe let me choose to learn it or not.
Yeah. Everyone take a deep breath. These are powerful feelings we're touching on. We're sharing some of our story. It may be echoing and resonating with some of yours. And part of the energy process, letting yourself just feel in your body, touching yourself, if that feels good to you, with kindness,
Yeah.
like, oh, okay, I'm here. Yeah, I have a shoulder. I have
Make
hands.
yourself big, Rick. I think they like to see you, and you're always so generous in making sure everything else is seen. You don't always put yourself in there.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. Um, yeah, just touching yourself. If things are coming up, it reminds us that we're physical. We're not just our thoughts and experiences. Maybe just give yourself a squeeze and feel gravity working.
Yeah. And but several people have shared that they learned it from their mothers as they grew up. We role model after our parents, and often for women, for girls, it's their mothers that they learn how to have body image from. And um, Daddy said gravity has done a number on my body.
Yeah, doesn't it? It and if I didn't have gravity, then I couldn't really engage in the same way. You look
Yeah,
at how hard it is to be alive. Our veins do better in gravity than zero gravity, things like that. It's such an odd thing. But
yeah.
thanks, Daddy. And do you want to go to the next slide? You already have.
I think one of the things I want to point out is we compare ourselves, and like if anyone, people hate their bodies because they're over. We don't look like we see on TV. We don't. We're bombarded with media. I work with a lot of people that don't like their genitals because women are often taught that they're dirty. Don't touch them. We're not taught to look at them, to love them, and men are often taught they're supposed to look like the porn stars, that with very large penises that are always rampant. Um, so there's all these little different aspects, and our brains are always saying, how do I compare to that other person? There's a discord in our body versus like if we didn't have media, which I'm really grateful. I love learning about things, but if we didn't have media, we might have much more like, oh, bodies come in all shapes and sizes and colors, and they look different ways, and it's all okay. Like we might have much more acceptance than us looking at the top 0.001% of people that can fit into the conventional mold and then saying, wow, I don't look like that. So there's a lot of fear that's built up around that.
And a lot of people hate their body because it's overweight, and we've demonized being overweight. And there was a time in human history where it was fat and happy because having enough food to eat was a big deal. And
Yeah.
the people that could store food for the future were the ones that survived. We are the survivors. We are the ones who've thrived and can actively and effectively store for the future famine. And what a I I tried to make that point to my mother. She's still going to Weight Watchers. She's 70 something. She exercises for her delight. She exercises now, 5 or 6 times a week, because it's pleasurable to her, but it also is tied to the weight thing.
Mhm.
And so that's a reality. It's what I grew up in. It's what, as Kathy has done so much research around the media imaging. So we use tapping. We use a technique of, these are natural comfort points at thrivingnow.com/tapping. You can get a free guide and see the points. If you're new to it, just kind of look at what we're doing and try to do what we're doing and follow the words, and just notice as you're touching yourself what's alive in you. And as you tap, think of it as providing comfort to the relationship between you and you.
Yeah.
Would you like to lead us in some
I will.
tapping together?
Me too. So one of the things I encourage people to do is, if you're not sure if you hate part of your body, go ahead and tap anyway. Tapping will never create something that's not there, but it will give you clarity. For instance, I was helping Rick and Carol with a program they were doing on abundance, or a call they did on abundance. And I was tapping on the different aspects with them, and I realized some of them I was like, wow, I really don't have this one. It gave me clarity. And others, like, I didn't think I had that, but there's this other thing there. So feel free to tap along and say the words. It's not going to anchor something that's not true. It's not going to make you hate you if you don't hate you. But it will give you clarity, and it's really powerful that way. Our brains are amazing things, and this is going to work with your cognitive brain and your survival brain, your hippocampus, your amygdala. It's going to help everything work together so you can get some of those subconscious beliefs up and out and clear them, and also get clarity on what's your issue. So I invite you to just get present in your body, feel your feet on the floor and your butt in the chair, wiggle your toes. Take a deep breath where you're breathing down to your toes. Imagine your toes are breathing in and out, and that brings your energy into your body and helps you remember that gravity's got us. We don't have to hold ourselves up right now. We can just be here and let the universe hold us. And we're going to start tapping. So karate chop. And you can tap gently. You don't have to tap hard, but you want to notice it. Even though I sometimes hate part of my body.
And repeat after Kathy. Even though I sometimes hate part of my body.
And it feels awful.
And that feels awful.
It feels like if my body would just conform.
It feels like if my body would just conform.
If it would just do what I told it.
If it would just do what I told it.
My life would be perfect.
My life would be perfect.
No wonder I hate that part of my body.
No wonder I hate that part of my body.
Even though I sometimes hate part of my body.
Even though I sometimes hate part of my body.
I'm open to a little more compassion.
I am open to a little more compassion.
Top of the head, no, I'm not.
No, I am not.
Eyebrow, if I give it compassion, it will keep doing this bad thing.
If I give it compassion, it's just going to keep doing that bad thing.
Side of the eye, I need to yell at it more.
I need to yell at it more.
Under the eye, I've yelled at it for a lot of years.
I've yelled at it for too long.
Under the nose, it hasn't really changed anything.
That hasn't changed anything.
Chin, it's just made me feel worse about myself.
It's just made me feel worse about myself.
Collarbone, what if my body's doing the best it can?
What if my body is doing the best that it can?
Under the arm, at least right this minute.
At least right this minute.
Top of the head, what if my body could do better if I actually loved it?
What if my body could do better if I just loved it?
Eyebrow, that would be an interesting thing to try.
That would be interesting to try.
Side of the eye, I haven't really tried that before.
I've not really tried that one before.
Under the eye, I'm open to being curious about that.
I'm open to being curious about that.
Under the nose, even though I have a lot of anger stored up.
Even though I have a lot of anger stored up.
Chin, and a lot of grief.
And a lot of grief.
But my body has held all of that for me.
And my body has held all of that for me.
Under the arm, maybe I can appreciate it.
Maybe I can appreciate it.
Top of the head, and let go of some of these feelings.
And let go of some of these feelings.
Take a nice, slow, deep breath. Might help to shake out your hands a little bit. Sometimes a lot of energy can get flowing. Yeah. What are you noticing, Rick?
I notice that there's a part of me that wants to just kind of flick it off and not feel it.
Yeah. It's
When I,
easier to kind of dissociate and push away. And
yeah, when I say I hate part of my body, it feels only like true at a 3 or 4, but that still means that there's something going on.
there's still a tar filled cement block there
There,
somewhere.
yeah, there's something going on. And I think that part of it is I wish it was different.
Mhm.
And so one of the things you may notice, I'm trying to model that when you're offered something to tap on, allow yourself to feel it. Put your energy and emotion into the words. It's not so much about following us perfectly, just to let you know. You can say whatever is coming up for you around the impulse of what we're offering. And I'd like to do a tapping here on I wish it was different. Does that feel
Ah,
okay? Take a moment and allow yourself to maybe be specific about 1, 2, or 3 things that you wish were different.
I love just scanning your body slowly, just noticing where there's a tension, an ache, like resistance.
Yeah.
I'm noticing my calves are super tight right now, and I'm not sure why, but I can just be with that feeling.
And we know many people, I mean, living is a process that things show up. Could be a chronic condition that hasn't cleared or may never clear. Could be an accident that's left you a certain way. It could be, a weight that you've tried to clear for a long time. There might be a limitation that you wish was different. And we, we tap with that, even though I do wish it was different.
Even though I do wish it were different,
I accept who I am and how I feel about it,
I accept who I am and how I feel about it.
even though the truth is, I wish it was different.
Even though the truth is, I wish it were different.
I accept who I am and how I feel about this,
I accept who I am and how I feel about this.
even though you'd have to be really weird to not wish it was different,
Even though you'd have to be really weird to not wish it was different,
because this isn't great.
because this isn't great.
I'm open to accepting my body
I am open to accepting my body
and deepening my relationship with it.
and deepening my relationship with it.
Top of the head. I so wish it was different.
I so wish it was different.
Eyebrow. I have regrets.
I have regrets.
Side of the eye. I have frustrations with my body.
I have frustrations with my body.
Under the eye. That's the truth.
That's the truth.
Under the nose. And it's okay,
And that's okay.
Jen. I do have a relationship with my body.
I do have a relationship with my body.
And I wish some things were different.
And I wish some things were different.
Hold on. Oh, wow. Do I wish some things were different?
Oh, wow. Do I wish some things were different?
They are. It would be really weird not to wish that they were different.
It would be really weird to wish things were not different.
Top of the head. But maybe I don't have to put much energy into that wish.
Maybe I don't have to put so much energy into that wish. It was interesting to watch that. Like, I had to really keep reminding myself to be my whole body here with that, because I was like, oh no, I don't have that because I'm shoving all those feelings in there. No, I want to let this energy resonate with all of me, because if I'm holding it off to the side, I can't really heal it.
Yeah. And I believe the thing that works for me for tapping is that I get to honor a truth. I wish it was different. Yep, I wish it was different. And a lot of times we get stuck in that. And that's why, for those of you that are learning tapping, we honor what is, and we look at being open to accepting ourselves and how we feel about it.
Yeah.
We may even acknowledge that it would be really weird to not wish that it was different. Maybe, yeah, well, sure. I wish I was lighter. I wish I was whatever. And in any relationship, there's where you focus your attention. In the now, Notice something that feels a little warmer, maybe appreciated, or it's okay. Touch maybe it's your knee or in your thighs. Maybe
Or
it's
your
your belly, your
belly.
ear. Ah, yeah. I wish it was different and it's okay. And I don't have to put so much energy into the wish it was different. What could I do now that is alive? What could I do now that's alive? Because you are, yeah, me too. I'm alive. What, like, just feeling yourself, give yourself permission to feel that you have a body. And you're not just your ears listening to this and your brain taking it in, that you have a body that has brought you here, that is doing a million trillion things
Without
in
us
the
even,
background.
yeah.
Every cell is doing so much that if you were paying that cell minimum wage, you'd be broke. And there's so many cells doing that.
Yeah. I love what Lori said here. I'd love to do a tapping round on this. I'm feeling my guilt for not taking better care of my body. It feels like that's stronger than my dislike for my body. And I think, that can be all woven in there too. Is it okay if we just do a round of tapping on that?
Yeah, let's do
So if that's true for you, if you feel like, oh, I should have done better for my body, or even guilt for hating it so much, just be with that feeling for a minute. I know it's hard to be with feelings, but that's how we clear them. Just take a nice, slow, deep breath.
Laughter and tears are welcome here.
Yeah. And as we tap, I invite you, when you do this gentle tapping, imagine that resonance. It's almost like a little gentle bell is ringing through your whole body, your whole being, your whole energy. If you notice you're keeping something tucked away in a closet or off to the side, that's the part that probably most needs this energy. So just to imagine that as you gently tap, it's like ding, 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 just gentle, loving energy going throughout all of you, and maybe even all through the years of your being. Karate chop, even though I feel so guilty.
Even though I feel so guilty.
I haven't always treated my body well.
I have not always treated my body well.
I didn't always take good care of myself.
I didn't always take good care of myself.
Sometimes I was too tired to work out.
Some days I was too tired.
And other days I ate a pizza rather than vegetables.
Last night I ate a pizza instead of vegetables.
Or ice cream for breakfast.
Or ice cream for breakfast.
I'm sorry, body.
I'm sorry, my
I
body.
put a lot of stress on you.
I put a lot of stress on you.
And I'm sending you loving energy right now.
I'm sending you loving energy right now.
Yeah. Even though I didn't always treat my body the best.
Even though I didn't always treat my body the best.
I honestly did what I could at the moment. For the most part.
For the most part, I did what I could at the moment.
And I'm willing to forgive myself.
And I am open to forgiving myself.
And apologizing.
And I do apologize.
And that maybe we can move forward now together.
Yeah, and maybe we can move forward together now.
Top of the head, all this guilt.
All this guilt.
Eyebrow, it feels so heavy.
It feels so heavy, icky, sticky.
Side of the eye, body, I'm so sorry I didn't protect you better.
I'm so sorry I didn't protect you better.
Under the eye, even at the times I couldn't protect you.
Even at the time.
Under the nose, I'm sorry I didn't care for you more lovingly.
I'm sorry I didn't care for you more lovingly.
Chin, honestly, I take better care of pets and plants than I do you.
I do take better care of pets and plants. And friends even, sometimes.
Collarbone. And I'm going to do better.
And I'm going to do better.
Under the arm, I won't be perfect.
And I will not be perfect.
Top of the head, but it might be easier if I don't have so much guilt in the way.
It definitely will be easier if I don't have guilt in the way.
Thank you for loving me through all of this.
Thank you for loving and working through all of this.
Nice deep breath. And if you're noticing anything, you can go ahead and write it down. I find some of the best insights I have are moments like when I'm doing a little tapping and I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, and Jean, thank goodness we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to be perfect at this. Just like my cat, like sometimes she feels like I have neglected her by not feeding her the minute I come through the door, and she has to wait a whole half hour for her dinner. And she survives, and she usually forgives me later after she gives me some nasty looks. But like, we don't have to be perfect with loving our bodies either. It's like, yeah, there are times I was really stressed a couple days ago, and I had chocolate cake for breakfast, and my body felt it all day, but it gave me some emotional comfort. And I had to do a little tapping about, wow, that was not the right way. My body, as I get older, wants more specifically good things to eat.
Yeah.
And I didn't do it that day. But if I beat myself up about it, it's not actually going to change the pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So we're all about love, loving ourselves through this.
Well, love and also cleaning it up. If I was hard on my body and let's say I self-medicated with Kit Kat bar, and maybe that was really right for me. Well, and maybe after the downstream, my body's asking for something else in addition. It's like, oh, yeah, we did that, and now it wants water, and now it wants this, and now it wants that. It's a relationship. And that's what we're encouraging, is that, yes, we don't have to be perfect. We don't have to eat a perfect diet. Our bodies are actually resilient. Whatever you've been eating, your body is still alive. Yes! And what else does it want in the relationship that says, oh, okay, instead of like adding guilt sauce on top of everything, it is a sauce that goes with everything, apparently.
And we're used to it.
Who'd have thought?
For us.
What is in that relationship would be nourishing? Like, hey, I'd like some energy for dance today. My body gave me a couple of things, and it said, everybody else is making sausage and eggs. That's heavy for me.
Yeah.
And even though it smelled so good and things, I have a relationship with my body that takes into account the energy curve of what I want. And when I got home, in preparing for this, like, what kind of energy did my body want in order to be present for you all, for myself? And it wanted apples and peanut butter. Okay, yeah. I wanted 2 small apples and peanut butter. And a big glass of water and another one. This kind of relating is something that I did not have, and because I didn't understand relating and intimacy with this physiology, it made me very sick. And the path back was just a deeper kind of relating. It's asking, listening, not doing everything. It's like, oh yeah, you want to go take a nap? Tough luck, buddy. We've got this to do. Yeah. It's okay. And later on, how about we take a nap at 5:30? Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I think
relating.
We're often taught we have to do something. We're a culture of doing, and we've been taught since birth, many, especially women, but I think everybody, that there's a virtue in blaming and hating ourselves. There's a virtue in noticing what we did wrong. And there is, like, I like to go, like, I run in Rick and I will talk after this and go, what could have gone better? But we also celebrate what went right. And I think that we tend to pour that sauce, like you talked about, that guilt sauce over everything, partly because we were taught that that's a virtue. That's what a good person does. And to me, there is a virtue in looking at it objectively and saying, wow, I could learn from that and do better. But there's not a virtue in, like, oh, I'm a bad person, like that kind of universal flogging that at least I was brought up to think was really what you did. That's what a good person did to themselves. It doesn't leave our bodies resilient, our hearts resilient, our brains resilient. It doesn't actually help us.
Would you lead us to some tapping? Just at this point, I think we could all use an invitation to notice what's working right. Yeah. Just what's working, the things that are ignored, all the parts of us that are really busy doing things that.
Yeah. So just take a nice, slow, deep breath. Wiggle your toes, feel your feet on the floor. It's a really good way to get in your body, because it's hard for your brain to be in your feet and not be in the rest of your body at the same time. Yeah. And let's do some tapping. Karate chop. Even though I don't always notice what I do well.
Even though I don't always notice what I do well.
My body is here right now.
My body is here right now.
And I'm well enough to listen and tap
And I'm well enough to listen and tap
and be present with my body.
and be present with my body.
That means my body is breathing.
That does mean my body is breathing.
And my heart is beating.
And my heart is beating.
And my liver is processing.
Oh, go liver. Yay.
And my kidneys.
And my kidneys.
And a bunch of other organs that I don't know the names for.
What does the spleen do?
Who knows?
Go spleen, whatever you do. Thank you.
And all the hormones that are going around and telling my body how to function.
Yeah, all the hormones.
And all the muscles in my body and the bones and the ligaments.
The bones, the sore ones, the ligaments, yeah.
Top of the head, and my skin's working pretty well.
And my skin's working pretty well.
Eyebrow, it may not look exactly the way I'd like to.
It doesn't look exactly as I'd like it to.
Side of the eye, I'm not a 12-year-old model.
I'm not a 12-year-old skin model.
To the eye, but I can touch it and it feels good.
I can touch it. It feels good.
Under the nose, it can notice when other people touch me.
And it can notice when other people touch me.
Chin, or if there's something's too hot or too cold.
Or something is too hot or too cold.
Collarbone, and it keeps all those good organs inside.
It keeps all those good organs inside.
Under the arm, thank you, skin.
Thank you, skin.
Top of the head, and my brain is working really well too.
And my brain is working suitably well too.
Eyebrow, I could always wish for more.
I could always wish for more.
Side of the eye, maybe it's not as clear as I would like it right now.
And maybe it is not as clear as I would like it right now.
Under the eye, but I'm here with it right now.
But I'm here with it right now.
Under the nose, and it's letting me connect with all these other people.
And it's letting me connect with all these other people around the world.
Chin, that's pretty amazing.
That's pretty amazing.
Collarbone, and my heart is full of love sometimes.
And my heart is full of love sometimes.
Under the arm, even though I hated it a lot.
Even though I hated it at times.
Top of the head,
So
it's
much.
still able to give and receive love.
It is still able to give and receive love.
What an amazing body.
Ooh, what an amazing body.
There's so
And
many body parts. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge that you might have noticed I hesitated on the what an amazing body. I was trying it on. It didn't feel completely true. It's sort of like trying on an outfit that you're not amazing body. And there are times when that feels really congruent. And there are times like right now when we're tuning into things that maybe we wish were different, or things that, yeah, all that like my amazing body doesn't feel completely true. It's okay when you're tapping to say something that doesn't feel 100% true. It also teaches us that this relationship has gradients to it. You know, sometimes we are more appreciative to our friends and loved ones. We're feeling it more than at other times. When we think about the relationship, there are times for appreciation. If you deprive your body of all appreciation, it won't feel as sensual. It won't feel as connected to you. If you deprive your body of the ability to go, I fucking hurt. Don't do that. It's gonna be angry at you for not listening to its pain.
Yeah.
All of that is in the relationship till death do us part with this body of ours.
Like any relationship, you can love someone, both people can love each other very much, and there can be times when we step on each other's toes, or one needs to do self-care and the other one wants to cling or be cuddled. You know, it's like we have times when there's pain, and Amber and Dottie are saying, how do I love my body when I'm in pain, or chronic back pain, or in pain every day? And there's a lot there. We don't have enough time to go in depth. Rick and Carol have an amazing program on pain relief that I found really helpful for a lot of things. But one thing that I learned to do, and I have to tap on it every time because we want to avoid pain. We want to distance ourselves from pain, whether it's the pain of shame because we're bigger than we see other people be, or there's a physical pain, or there's a rash, or whatever it is. We want to distance ourselves from that. And physical pain is scary to our primitive brain. So if we can tap and get a little more resilient and realize that our body is sending us a signal asking for some kind of help, and that I love what Rick says. It's like a little kid turning up the volume. It's like, Mom, I have to pee. Mom, I have to pee. And then all of a sudden the kid's like, Mom! Like our body is asking for something. And sometimes we don't know how to listen. I love what Rick and Carol did was like tune into the body and help it figure out what does it need. And, Rick did a lot to cure himself of a very, very serious illness by just, listening to his body and reducing stress and trying to befriend it through the pain, which is a challenge and it takes courage. So I'm not minimizing that at all, but pain and shame are big things.
Yeah, and pain is, just to be clear with tapping, pain is sometimes something that goes away quickly, but mostly it's about listening and accepting.
Yeah.
And when we do that, we get to a place where, okay. It's like if you have a friend who is capable of taking care of themselves, but also needs some help, like someone who is, let's say, in a state of pain, where getting them a glass of water could make a big difference because they don't have to get up and get all the way to the kitchen and come back. I notice with my body, and it means that if I listen, I might tap on the emotion, I might tap on but I'm offering something for just a short moment of real connection and acceptance. And then it's okay to just let the pain be the pain.
Yeah.
The suffering comes up when we are really repulsed or hate the fact that I have this pain.
Yeah.
So that's just in the short side. These are the types of things. We have a pain relief mini course out on thrivingnow.com. You can that Kathy and I put together as well. It's free. So shall we go on to the next slide and see what else
we kind of dove in a little bit, but I think it's really important to notice, rather than generalizing, I hate my body, which some of us do. It's good to be specific. What is it that you hate? Is it that roll of fat on your tummy, or the cellulite there? Is it, you have a little bit of flab under your arm? Like, we tend to generalize. Like, if someone hurts us, someone steps on our toe, it's easier to say that's a bad person versus that person can be rude when they're hungry. Or like, when we get more specific, it gives us more power and it lets us move forward a little bit more. So we kind of talked a little bit about this, but
yeah, let me share just a quick story. I had a friend of mine that had psoriasis, real chronic psoriasis. It's painful, it's uncomfortable, and it's visually disturbing to her. And we did this exercise. And so we were looking at her leg, and it's covered by these splotches. And I said, well, do you hate this one? No. How about this one? No. What about this one? Well, what's the energy in that one? What makes that? And so for her, it was, she yelled at her kids that morning. Isn't that interesting? And as we tapped, the inflamed quality of the energy in that very specific spot went down. And she felt more energy flow and aliveness. Did all the psoriasis clear up? No. But that's input. That's interesting, isn't it? It's a way that when you really have a relationship with your body, that process of healing and being with it changes.
Yeah.
All right.
So
Next one.
Yeah. And I think it's really important to remember, what we resist persists. Just like if we hate part of us and we're insisting we need to hate that part and keep it away, we're not going to, Rick talks sometimes like if you broke a toe and a bear was chasing you, you would dissociate from that part of your body so you could run away and get away from the bear. And later on, you're going to be like, holy ouch. But because a lot of us don't know how to deal with the shame, like we weren't modeled this as we were growing up, we didn't get modeled, oh, this is how you embrace parts of yourself that you don't like, and this is how you love yourself. We just leave it pushed away, dissociated, and then the energy stuck. It becomes like kind of concretized,
Yep.
and it's hard to move forward or change our bodies or be loving towards our bodies, or even just like, wow, okay, my body looks like this right this minute. This is what it looks like. Can I love and accept it? Can I be with me as I am? Do you want to add anything to that?
That's good. What's our next?
Okay.
So we've done this exercise. So this is a reminder. Pick a part of your body that you're maybe hate is too strong. Maybe it's like annoyed with or irritated about or just disgusted or whatever it is. Could be just be like, oh gosh, bleh. And do some tapping on it. And by doing so, especially if you emphasize, and I accept this part of me anyway, even though I'm really disgusted by it right now, I've decided to accept myself anyway. May not be completely true. Could be that you need to be open to accepting yourself, or
and you can even do the "No, you can't make me" script that Rick has. Like, because some of us like, nope, I am not going to.
I'm not going to accept myself. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And I think it's really important. We talked about this a little earlier as well, but this is a good reminder. Why do you hate it? Where did you learn that that part is hateful? Like, I learned that big is bad. Like, I grew up with that. Like, my mom said to me, you will not, I think I was 10 pounds overweight by the medical charts, and I was all muscle. I was working on the farm all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, no one will love you if you don't lose weight. Like, I still remember having that conversation at 13. And I was like just torn apart. And I believed that to the depth of my soul, that I would not be loved if I had any fat on my body whatsoever. Like, I absorbed that to the depths of my cells. And mostly I've released it over a number of years. It wasn't all at once, but there's still days when I've had a bad day or I've been rejected, that it's really easy to blame the part of me that's obvious versus, hey, that didn't work out. It's like, oh, it's because I'm fat. That person doesn't like me because I'm fat, or they didn't choose me for for that event or invite me to that show because of that. Maybe, maybe not. But when we blame a part of ourselves, we just kind of anchor that hatred or that dislike or that shame or the guilt in that part of our body. And just like toxins, they often talk about how if we have a lot of toxins in our bodies, we can manifest more fat cells because they're insulating us from, they're kind of like coating it and keeping us safe from it. I think that shame has that same kind of energy, that hatred has that same kind of energy.
It does.
The hard thing.
Yeah. I know that there's a point in my journey, and I know that Kathy had this too, where you're really being invited, maybe by someone like us who has made the journey before, that it's worth it to try to develop a different kind of relationship. Call it a healthy relationship, but one that's engaged, it's intimate. It's like, some people, they don't know their body. And this is an invitation to be intimate, to know your body, and to allow yourself to grow in self-compassion, connection, presence. I know that for me, this practice, which is ongoing, because I'm aging, I am out there. I sprained my ankle on January 1st, and it was, painful. And this practice says every moment there's something in the relationship that we can feed into. Maybe it's an asking for compassion, tenderness, or a hot bath. Maybe it's for food, and noticing that the body gives you things in return. That this relationship is not one-sided. It's not, oh, I got to feed you now. Oh, I got to, no, you fed it, and it took you to work. It sat in traffic, even though it's uncomfortable to sit for a long time. That your body was able to do that.
Yeah.
this practice will, it, by doing this also, I know that someone who is cultivating a, this kind of relationship with their body relates to me differently. I can I can really sense it. I am a sensitive person, but I think we all can sense when someone is in a place of acknowledging the pain, the age, the limitations, the wish it was different, and being okay, recognizing the mutuality of body, mind, and spirit at play, alive, again, now, tomorrow, that makes an enormous difference in how you intimately relate with others as well.
Yeah. No, I think of it as, people do meditation, they do walking meditation. I think of this as a living meditation, a constant, like we're just gently drawing our attention back to our relationship with our body is like, to me, that feels so profound and warm and like really hard to do sometimes. But the more we practice, again, those muscles, like, oh, yeah, okay, I'm feeling really dissociated. What can I do right now? Can I like do a stretch? Can I just invite my energy through my body? Can I rub my arms? Can I
Oh, yeah.
invite a friend to give me a hug? What is it that my body would like right now? And what am I noticing? Like, what part of my body is tense? Okay, thanks, ankles. What's going on there? Oh, we haven't done any walking. Or, oh, that friend yelled at us. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's just do a little tapping on that energy. And maybe we should call the friend up and say, hey, when you said that, it hurt my feelings and I want to clear this up. But our bodies are our antennas to the world. They are our way that we get so much information. Many of us have been taught to use our brains and our eyes and our ears, but our entire body is this amazing antenna for picking up so many micro clues that our brain, consciously our brain can't pick up. It's subconscious stuff. And when we have a good relationship for us, it's like when I started reclaiming my body and not hating it so much, my intuition skyrocketed. In fact, I had to do some tapping on it because it was like so much at first.
Mm-hmm.
And my fulfillment in life, like I used to feel very dull and flat. Well, it's because I was shutting off so much signal that was coming in from my body because I'd cut off, like I hated it so much. I lived up here because I felt like this was a bad place. But as we reconnect and we love, it's like we're turning that antenna on and the input, we're like getting all these channels turned back on. It's so beautiful. And we really do want that for you. So if you can, like as you're going through life, like, oh, okay, I do have wrinkles. What if I could love the fact that my skin, my face has smiled that many times and frowned and picked up expressions. The people that do Botox, they found actually have less, somehow there's our expressions and what we get help us pick up on other people's emotions. So people that get Botox or other things that reduce the responsiveness of our skin, those people pick up a microsecond, like I think it's 0.9 microseconds slower, the other people's emotions. And if you think about, if you've ever interacted with someone who's a little slow responding emotionally, it's heavy work. Yeah. So the fact that we've interacted with people and had those responses that many times, that there's a little pathway in our skin for our expression, why is that bad? We're taught that that's bad by media because they want to sell us this latest wrinkle cream. But actually, in a lot of cultures, people that had wrinkles or gray hair, they were venerated because they had all that experience their body was carrying. Why can't we celebrate the fact that, wow, I do, like I have wrinkles that are showing up more and more as I get older. They're pathways. My body has learned to let that information in and let me express myself. And my body has patterns on that. That makes me partly uniquely me. Why can't we just embrace that instead of like, oh my God, look at this. It's proof I'm not desirable. No, who said? So the more we can practice that and kind of keep that balance, I think the more power we have.
And it's not going to be about other people, looking at you and doing that. It's an inside job. The more of us that are walking with that energy, the more that it will seem natural to other people, not to look up to us, but to recognize that we're alive and we have this great relationship with ourselves, or at least a growing relationship.
And it makes such a difference. Like I've noticed, like I think most of us can think back. Okay, I think most of us can think back of a time we saw some amazing, powerful woman or man that walked into a room and we didn't even notice they had wrinkles or gray hair. It's just like you could feel their energy. I think so much more about that. There's more than, we can embrace that I'm going to just be me and I love me. That changes the energy. One of the tricks I use when I'm having a really rough day, loving myself and taking care of myself, how would I treat a pet? Like, okay, my body is tired, hungry, thirsty, and needs a shower. Okay, which does it need most? Okay, I have a pet. What would I do for that pet? I would get it a shower while the soup's heating up. Mm-hmm. I would eat the soup and drink a glass of water, and I would go to bed. Like, I put the pet to bed. Not that cats can be put to bed, but they do whatever they want. But, we just have the habit of ignoring ourselves and our needs. So, just if you can, use that analogy if that helps, a pet or a child. Like, what would you do for this if they had these needs going on right now? Would you tell it, hey, it's okay that you're hating yourself right now. I'm going to just be with you and love you anyway. That kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And we already did some tapping on this, but notice the miracle. What's actually working? What's appreciating? What do you appreciate? Like, whether we're little or big or old or young or whatever it is, it's like, wow, cool stuff. Mm-hmm. Just being right where you are. It's real right now. Like, even if you wish you were different or you plan to be different or you're going to go get that haircut or start working out or, use that anti-wrinkle cream or whatever it is, right now you are where you are and your power is in where you are right now. Mm-hmm. So if you're hating your belly or you're basking in your connection, just be with that and, invite more connection and love. Just, it's about gently turning up the knob a little bit each day and reminding ourselves to be there. And yeah, we want to just quickly invite you. We're starting the Body Image and Confidence program in a week and a half, I think. And we'll be guiding people through releasing old limits, negative beliefs, and fears. And we're going to help you identify and allow the wonders of your body and help you anchor its value. We're going to do a lot of guided visualizations, move through the world in a more connected and present way to give charisma and confidence. So we'd love to have you join us. It's the intimacydojo.com/body confidence. It's normally $97, but we're for the people that are here right now. We're inviting you for $67. And to get it started, because we really care about this and we would love to have you be part of that and join us. So just love your body through this next week if you can. And what would you like to, thanks for posting that. Anchor the good feelings, get rid of, just keep gradually reducing the dislike and hatred that's there, just a little bit at a time.
Yeah. Thank you all. And we'd love to hear in the comments a takeaway, something that was meaningful to you.
Yeah, Barbara, thank you. I'm really glad that this helped.
And we appreciate, compliments and things like that are wonderful. We also know that this is a sacred circle to us. That this is while we are facilitating the energies that are moving and the like, and we take that seriously. Could you advance to the next slide so people have the other? That we want to know what's alive for you because that helps tune us. Yes. It's like the person who said, the guilt for not taking care of myself is what's alive for me. You'll notice how I suspect that they weren't the only one that has some of that. And it allows us to tune. So your emails to support@theintimacydojo.com, your comments here, we read them all. It helps what's alive for this circle. Those of you that are coming together, that had the desire, whether you're live with us right this moment or you're live with us at your time zone and in your place, we want to know. Thank you for sharing. If it's private, again, email is fine. Support@theintimacydojo.com will come to us as well.
Yeah. And I'd love to just take a moment for you just to appreciate the fact that you just spent this last hour looking at things that a lot of people never even consider. Notice the amount of courage. Like we forget, we take for granted the courage we bring to the world. I'd love for you just to notice that there is so much courage in you being here and you looking at these things and just moving a few inches forward. And that courage is what makes the world a different place. We honor that you're here and we so appreciate it. And we'd love for you to notice too that you brought this courage, you helped create the space, and you're creating a different energy in your life, inviting something different into your life. Thank you for that.
Thank you all. Until next time.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.